Hello, welcome. So this is the first video of many that you should be watching this year. The format of this class is going to be a little bit different than what I'm sure you're used to. And it will involve a lot of you watching videos by me and a lot of you engaging in activities on your own. And so this video here, I'd like to serve as an introduction to the course structure in general, an introduction to your responsibilities, my role in helping you with those responsibilities, and just the general process by which I imagine this course occurring. Okay? And so here we have a little whiteboard. I use these in the videos as kind of background notes for me to talk from and from you to read from, right? And so like, they're just a guiding line. So if we look at the course structure here, one of the big components of the way that this is going to be set up is that it is effectively self-paced, right? There will be some hard deadlines because quarters do come and grades do close. But within each individual quarter, when you do a specific lesson is really up to you. The pace at which you do them is up to you. You do have to do them in sequence, but I might be on lesson 2-1 one day, Susie might be on lesson 3-4, and Johnny might be on lesson 1-4, right? The purpose of the course is for you to learn things, right? And so I'm hoping that this structure is going to be very conducive to a focus on learning rather than a focus on grading and a focus on scoring and all that jazz that we typically associate with school. And the goal is for you to learn things. Okay? And so on the topic of grading, right, each lesson will have 3 assessments associated with it. Right? So these are done at the end of the lesson. You've gone through all the material. You're feeling comfortable with the content. Right? And there are 3 levels of assessment. There's the must-do assessment. Okay? And that's going to be worth 75 points of that lesson. Okay? And so everybody must complete this assessment here. Okay? You cannot move on to the next lesson until you've scored a 75 on this assessment. So until you've got all the points for this assessment, you can't move on to the next lesson. Okay, it's not open to you. Like you physically can't do it. Then once you've completed the must-do, okay, if you want to score another 10 points, you can do the should-do assessment. And if you want to score another 10 points, you can complete the aspire-to-do assessment. What this means is that for every lesson that we do, if you want A on it, you have to do all 3 assessments to completion. If you want to be on it, you have to do the must-do and the should-do to completion. And if you're satisfied with a C, you can do just the must-do, right? And so these are the 3 levels of assessment. You can return to the should-do and aspire-to-do at any point in the quarter, right? So once you complete the must-do, you can move on to the next lesson if you'd like, or you can do these right here and now. That's entirely up to you. At the end of each quarter, there will be a more traditional exam, paper pen exam, that asks 2 questions that is cumulative for that entire quarter. Right? So all the things that we'll learn in that quarter are on this test. That exam will be worth 100 points times however many units were in that quarter. Right? And so if there's 3 units in quarter 1, the exam would be worth 300 points. Okay. Effectively, that makes the exam worth 1 lesson from each unit, if that makes sense. Okay. Between quarters 2 and 3, we will have a midterm. Okay. The midterm will be 200 points, and it will be cumulative for all of the information from quarter 1 and quarter 2 will show up on this test. That will also be a traditional pen and paper exam. Okay. And then at the end of the year, we'll have a final that's cumulative for everything. And that'll be worth 400 points. Okay. The lesson structure will be pretty consistent throughout the year. Each lesson will be described on the folder itself. You'll see that when I demonstrate the Schoology page in a moment. There will be a video that I will produce that covers the content for that lesson. There will be activities, which are the learning processes, learning thingy-mabobs that you'll be doing. That's where you're doing work. Okay? And it's going to be quality over quantity. I'm not going to jam-pack these lessons full of activities. They're not going to be like 5 activities per lesson. It's going to be 1 or 2 per lesson. Okay? It's going to be on you to make sure that you do it well. If you just fly through it to get it done, you're not going to get anything out of it, and it's just wasting your time. Right? So a big part of your success in this course will be you applying yourself to do it properly. You got to do it right. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. Right? And then, of course, there are the assessments, which I touched upon earlier. Okay? So that's the general outline of the course. So if we go to our Schoology page, right, so running Schoology, if you hit this tab up here, courses, it will show you all your available courses. These are mine. Okay? You'll have one called Biology 1, something, something, something. You click that. And it will open up a page that eventually is going to start twirling. It's going to come. Here it is. It's going to look like this. Okay, so this is the front page of our course. This is where you'll access everything. Here's my syllabus. If you go to Unit 1, obviously we're starting at Unit 1. Right? If you click the unit folder from the front page, you'll see the lesson folders inside. So they're labeled Lesson 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. They go sequentially, as would make sense. Right? On this front folder is the description of what the objective is, what you're doing in this lesson. Right? So you have to look at this page to figure out what's going on. Right? So it'll say, watch the video. The video is going to be in the folder. Right? Then you have the activities. If the activities are things that don't require a printout or a file or a folder or interactivity, it's just going to describe it right here. Right? So turn and talk. Like you do that without a worksheet. So like that's it. It's here. It's available for you. You can see it right on the front page. Okay? And then this one says complete the setup to-do list. Okay? That requires the to-do list, and you'll find that inside the folder. And then you must complete the assessments. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, these are the things that must be done for this lesson. Okay? So we open up the lesson, and here's the stuff. Right? And so here's that activity, the to-do list. Right? So you can click on that, and it will open up the to-do list. These are the things that you have to do. Instructions here, right? So you read through that, you're like, all right, cool, I want to go back and look at what I was just seeing before, okay? And then here you see the assessments. Okay? You got the must-do assessment, you got the should-do assessment, and the aspire-to-do assessment. Okay? The must-do assessment will always be tied directly to the objective listed on the front of the folder. Okay? And you open it up. It's usually going to be some kind of matching or categorization assessment. It's an objective thing, okay? And it's going to be 1 or 2 questions. It's not long. So you click it, you open it, you answer it. You don't want to try this assessment until you are very comfortable with the content, until you're sure you understand it, okay? You get 1 stab at it to begin with, and you need to get 100% on it. You need to get it all the way right. The point is to demonstrate mastery of this content, right? If you don't get 100% on the first time, you're going to have to conference with me. We're going to have to talk about the subject, right? And I need to get from you the notion that you have mastered the concept, that you understand it, right? And once I feel like you understand it, I'll go in, I'll check off 75, boom, and then you can move on from there, okay? But the easiest, fastest, cleanest way to do it is just to do it right the first time, okay? So once you feel comfortable, go do the must-do assessment. Okay. The should-do assessment and the aspire-to-do assessment are more often going to be assignment types of things, right? Like for instance, this says create a video that gives a brief description of how the course structure functions. Okay. And so you'd make me a video and you'd submit it. And if I feel like that video demonstrates mastery of this concept, I'll give you the 10 points and you move on. So it's all or nothing. Like you get the 10 points, you don't get the 10 points. That's it, right? If I feel like you don't get the 10 points the first time, you can keep resubmitting these and resubmitting them and fixing them as many times as it takes for you to get the points, okay? So like, don't be shy about turning these in. I'll give you some feedback. You can read it. If you don't understand the feedback, you just come talk to me and we'll work on it from there. Okay, so there's no limit to how many times you can try these. There's no limit to how many times you can mess up on the must-do assessment, but you can only take the blank regular assessment once, and then you have to come talk to me about it. Okay, so that's how that works. Going back to the front thing, so you'll see that you have to must do that, right? And then if this opens up, you'll see that this says must complete. Okay. So once you complete the must do assessment to a 75-point level, this will light up, and then you can move on to lesson 1.2. And then the same story goes on here, and then onwards and upwards. Okay. And so that's the course structure. So you have to do it sequentially. Okay. You can do it at your own pace. We don't have to be on the same page at the same time. I will have a pacing guide published as well for you to help make sure that you're on task, But yeah, so that's it. I think that's everything I wanted to mention. Cool. Bye.